Hello ladies and gentlemen, in this video we are going to make custom text input components for entering an email and password. As you can see over on the right here, I've got a create account screen which has fields for entering your email and password. And over here is my code. As you can see, I'm using text inputs to enter this data. I've got some custom styles here, a placeholder. For the email text input, I've got a keyboard type of email address, and I've got capitalization turned off and autocorrect turned off. For the password fields, I've got a secure text entry set to true, which blanks out the letters as you type them. Now this isn't too bad, but it's taking up 6 lines of code just for a single text input, and I'd like to pull some of these properties out into a component so that I don't need to specify them each time. So what I'm going to do is come over to my app components folder, and I'm going to make a new file called PasswordTextInput.js, and I'll make another one called emailTextInput.js. And to create the components, we will do import React from React, and we'll import text input from React Native. I'm in my email text input file right now, so I will export default class email text input, which extends a React.component. And in the render method, we will return a text input, and we'll leave it like that just for right now, and we'll fill that in a second. But first, let's copy and paste this into the password text input file just to save a little bit of typing. Don't forget to rename your class to password text input, and we'll save those, and we'll add them to our index.js file. So first we need to import them. We will import email text input from email text input, and we'll import password text input from password text input, and of course export them. Now they should be accessible in other files, so if we go over to the test screen, we can now import them from app components. So we will do that now. Email text input and password text input. Alright, so as you can see, our email text input is returning a text input, and what we want to do is just hard code some of those properties, because we know that they will always be that way for an email text input. So if you come over here and take a look, for the email, we've got the keyboard type set to email address, capitalization turned off, and autocorrect turned off. Those, I think, will always be true for an email text input, at least for my applications. So I'll add those properties here. And I still have some additional properties that I want to set. I want to set the placeholder. I want to give it some styles. So one thing you could do is you could say style equals this dot props dot style. You could say placeholder equals this dot props dot placeholder. But an easier method is to use dot 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 this dot props. So right here we put some brackets and we say dot 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 this dot props. And what that does is it takes any properties that you give to this component and it puts them into this component. So if we give a placeholder to our email text input, that property will get passed along to the text input. We'll save that, and let's jump over here and figure out what we want to do for our password. So for password inputs, I want to have secure text entry always equal to true. I always want capitalization off, and I always want autocorrect turned off. So I will copy this and apply these properties to the password text input. And once again, we'll do dot 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 this dot props to handle any additional properties that we pass in. So with that done, we should now be able to convert these text inputs to our email and password text inputs. So we'll do that now. Change that to email, that to password, and that to password. And because these properties are hard-coded into those components, we should be able to delete them. And as you can see, that looks much cleaner now. Let's save it and test it out. The email, I don't have the keyboard open right now, but it's not capitalizing or autocorrecting, and passwords are blanking out the letters as I type them. So I think it worked. And this is a very simple way of making components, but it can make your life a little bit easier, save you from having to type these properties out each time. And thank you for watching the video. please subscribe if you'd like to be notified of future videos.